Guys, please check your audio and video settings, please, everyone. In Saturday's class, I was talking about AOP importance, guys. What AOP says? Separate secondary logics from primary logics and give them to AOP-enabled software that generates one in-memory proxy class dynamically at runtime, where primary and secondary logics will be mixed up as required. Where the primary and secondary logics will be mixed up as required. Got the point, my dear? Okay, what is the simplest way to remember, guys? Yeah, OOP style programming is like normal hotel tea. Next, AOP style programming is like 5-star hotel tea. Everything comes separately. Just before drinking, we mix them, right? Just before drinking, we mix them. Understanding my statement?
Recording in progress.
The languages that are given based on procedure-oriented programming principles are called procedure-oriented programming languages. C, Basic, Fortran, COBOL, and etc. boss. C, Basic, Fortran, COBOL, and etc. Got it, my dear? The languages that are given based on procedure-oriented programming principles are called procedure-oriented programming languages, right? C, Basic, Fortran, COBOL, and etc. The languages that are given based on object-oriented programming principles are called object-oriented programming languages. C++, Java, C#, and etc. C++, Java, C#, and etc. Got it? C++, Java, and etc. my dear. Got it, my dear? Understanding my statement? Okay, what are the OOP principles, guys? Class, object, encapsulation, inheritance, polymorphism, abstraction, and etc. are called OOP principles, boss. And etc. are called OOP's principle. Understanding my statement, my dear? These are technically called OOP principles, right now, boss? The software that are given based on AOP, aspect-oriented programming principles, are called AOP-enabled softwares or AOP softwares. Spring AOP, Aspects AOP, JBoss AOP. Aspects AOP is the best in the market, Rabab. Okay, guys, what is that? Procedure-oriented programming principle, procedure-oriented languages. Object-oriented programming principle, OOP languages. OOP principles are also called as what? Sayyid Samir, after listening entire Ramayana, you should not ask who is Sita. Sayyid Samir. You expect AOP is also framework related Java, sir. It's a style of programming, Ra Babu. It's a style of programming. How we got object-oriented programming? How we got procedure-oriented programming. Similarly, aspect-oriented programming is there, which is extension of object-oriented programming. So that means aspect-oriented programming internally uses object-oriented programming. Aspect-oriented programming internally uses object-oriented programming. Clear, my dear? Array, in object-oriented programming, some principles. Mr. Syed Samir, I have taken your name. I have replied for you. Can't you confirm whether you got my point or not? Don't be this much attitude people, Ra Babu. Lazy fellows, Ra Babu. You asked query. Sincerely, I have taken your name and replied. And if you don't confirm, how I will be happy, tell me. Okay. Now tell me, boss, how we got OOP principles? OOP terminology. Similarly, we got AOP principles or na, boss? Similarly, we also got AOP principles. Can we name what are the AOP principles, guys? Expect, advice, join point, point cut, target class, weaving, proxy class. These are called AOP principles. What do you say, boss? Expect, advice, join point, point cut, target class, weaving, proxy class. These are called AOP principles. Are you getting my point? Logging logics, guys, keeps track of applications flow. Auditing logics, boss, keeps track of user activities in the application utilization. Security logics, boss, authentication logic plus authorization logic. When I say authentication logic, checking the identity of a user. When I say authorization logic, checking the access permissions of a user on certain resources. User on certain resources. Getting my point? All these are aspects, Rababu. All these are aspects. All these are secondary logic. I'm just telling, array, which line, which method, which class, which module executed, logging, Rababu. Which user has done which activities. User logged in, user verified, opened inbox, user checked the mail, user forwarded the mail, user deleted the mail, user composed and sent the mail, user logged out. That is auditing, Rababu. Security logic, it's all about performing authentication and authorization. AOP principles are expect, advice, join point, point cut, target class, weaving, proxy class. These are called AOP principles, na boss? These are technically, logically called AOP principles. Understanding? Expect, advice, join point, point cut, target class, weaving, proxy class. Super. Expect, guys. What you want to apply? Class. What you want to apply? Class with secondary logic is called expect, boss. Class with secondary logic is called expect. Represents the secondary logic that you want to apply on primary logic. Security logic, logging logic, auditing logic, these are called aspects. And ultimately, secondary logics are called aspects. Ultimately, secondary logics are called aspects. Super. Advice, boss. Advice. Listen. Array, secondary logics are called aspects, but if you give action to aspect, that is called advice. That means advice tell how an aspect should be used. Advice tells how an aspect should be used. How you want to apply the aspects is called advice. How do you want to apply the aspect is called advice. How do you want to apply the aspects is called advice. Before entering into business method, while leaving the business method, or before and after business method, you want to give some action, Bob. Secondary logic means aspect, but you are giving action plan to aspect. That is called advice. Something like this, guys. To earn money, invest money is the aspect. Invest money in share market, invest money in real estate, invest money in some other thing. If you are getting limited money, invest money in share market. If you are getting more and more money, you have some black money also, unaccounted money, then invest in real estate. So these are called advices. Na? Invest money is an aspect. How you want to invest the money is the advice. Okay. If you are a girl, buy the gold. If you are a girl, buy the gold, no doubt. I have seen so many girls, guys. Until they have money, until they don't get the job, they don't get the money. They say, I hate gold, I hate gold. Okay. As they get the job, as dates as the days comes closer to marriage, guys, all of a sudden they start loving gold. They fall in love with gold. I don't know why. So, right, boss. No, they feel that is also one kind of asset. They feel that is also one kind of asset. Okay, they own them. They own them. How they own husband and kids, they also own the gold. Okay. Am I right for my statement? Okay. Advice, guys. How you want to apply the aspects? How you want to apply the aspects, guys? The action plan of aspect is called advice. That means advice knows when exactly aspect logic should execute on primary logics. The action plan given to aspect is called advice. Advice knows when exactly aspect logic should execute on primary logic. Right now, boss? Advice is equal to aspect plus plus. Advice is equal to aspect plus action plan. Aspect plus action plan. Super. Advice is equal to aspect with action specified, guys. Security logic aspect. Security logic should be applied before entering into the business method. That is advice. I think you got clear-cut difference between advice and aspect, guys. Only logic aspect, Babu. The action plan given to aspect is called advice. More or less both are same. More or less both are same. Can I say something? I joined in the company aspect. I joined in a company assigned to particular project advice. You have taken birth roaming on the roads aspect. Okay, boss. But you realized why you have taken birth what is the purpose of coming to earth, and you started behaving accordingly, then you are called as what? Advice. Suparna boss, enjoy learning, Babu. Enjoy learning. 4 types of advices. Yeah, array in spring, in aspects, in AOP programming, we have 4 types of advices. Before advice, execute before executing, executes before executing target class business method. What? Advice logics will execute before executing target class business method, right? After returning advice, executes after executing the target class business method, right, boss? Executes after executing the target class business method. Next, throws advice. Executes when exception raised in business method. Executes when exception raised in the business method. Around advice. Executes before entering into a business method and while exiting from the business. Before entering into the business method and while exiting from the business method. Around means before and after. Throws means when exception is raised in the business method. After returning advice means when after returning advice means what, guys? Okay. Executes after executing target class business method. That means when control leaves the business method. Before advice. Executes before executing the target class business method. Suparna boss. This is about what? Advice. That's next one. Join point. Where can we apply? Join point is nothing but what? Where can we apply? What do you mean by where can we apply? The possible places in the service class or business class or target class where advice or aspects can be advised, where the aspects can be advised. The possible places in target class where aspects can be advised or applied are called join points. Spring AOP supports only methods of target class as the join points. Actually, we can take method, fields, constructor, etc. as the join point in aspects AOP. In Spring AOP, we can take methods as the join points, guys. Correct place, boss. In target class, where you want to apply? On the constructors, on the methods, on the fields. So wherever we can apply, they are called join points. Wherever we can apply, they are called join points. Target class is having 10 methods, but I want to apply aspects or advice only on 6 methods. So still we can say there are 10 join points. We can apply aspects on 10 methods, but we are interested to apply on 6 methods. Total how many join points are there, guys? Total how many join points are still there? 10 are there. The possible places where aspects can be advised are called join points. Are called join points. Enjoyed, my dear? The possible places where aspects can be advised. The possible places where aspects can be advised. Target key is having 10 methods. But I want to apply aspects or advice only on 6 methods. Still, we can say there are 10 join. Next, what is there? Point cut. Where we have applied. Where we have applied. Dilip Yadav, am I loud and clear, guys? Am I loud and clear? Dilip Yadav, check your network bandwidth. From my side, everything is perfect. I'm having stable network, guys. I'm having stable internet connection. Check it out. What is the speed I'm having? 100 Mbps. How much is required to conduct the class? 4 to 5 Mbps is enough. 4 to 5 Mbps is more than sufficient. But still I'm having 100, right? So now you cannot say problem is my side. Dilip Yadav, I hope you are not attending classes using mobile data. Okay. But screen is running little delay. Problem is your side, Sanku Jade. Yeah, stop attending classes using mobile data. Use Wi-Fi. Make sure that your network bandwidth is stable, boss. Point cut, guys. Where we have applied the aspects. Where we have applied the aspects. Where we have applied the aspects. Superna, boss. Collection of joint points where aspects are advised or applied. Where aspects are advised or applied is called point cut. Is called point cut. Each point cut represents one or more joint points where we want to apply the aspects or advices. Where we want to apply the aspects or advices. Each point cut represents one or more joint points where we want to apply the aspects or advices. Listen carefully. Where we can apply joint point, where we have applied point cut. See, guys, target class with 10 business methods. How many joint points are, guys? 10 joint points. Number of point cuts, our choice. Number of point cuts is our choice. If you want to apply aspects on 5 methods, then we can take 1 point. Then we can take 1 point cut with all the 5 methods, or 5 point cut representing 5 methods, 3 point cut representing 5 methods, or any possibility. So number of point cuts are your choice, guys. You can take a single point cut representing all the 5 methods. 5 point cuts representing 5 methods. 3 point cuts representing 5 methods. Anything can be done or not. Anything can be done or not. But it represents collection of joint points. Okay, on whom? Where aspects are advised. Where the aspects are advised. Where the aspects are advised. Getting my point, my dear? Got the clarity, my dear? Come on. Yeah, if you listen, I think you understood the difference between joint point and point cut, guys. Point cut is collection of joint points. Okay, once point cut is ready, based on the point cut, we apply the aspects. If point cut is representing 5 joint points, okay, nothing but 5 methods, okay, advice will be applied on 5 methods. If point cut is representing 3 methods, then advice will be applied on 3 methods. Clear, guys? Nice, boss. Target class, guys. Class with primary logics. Class with primary logics. Right now, boss? The class where business methods will be placed having primary logics. This is generally service class, boss. Array, yesterday service class, bank service class is there, na? That is target class. That is target class. Right now, boss? Okay, join points are always number of business methods are there in target class. Those many join points will be there. Check it out this point. Target class with the 10 business method. Then number of join points 10. Number of point cuts, our choice. If you want to apply aspects on 5 method, then we can take 1 point cut representing all the 5 methods. Or 5 point cuts representing 5 methods. 3 point cut representing 5 methods. Or any possibility. Or any other possibility. Super. Target class, boss. The class where business method is placed having primary logic. This is generally called service class. This is generally service class. Weaving, Babu. The process of mixing primary and secondary logic is called weaving process. The process of mixing primary and secondary logics is called weaving process. Array, you might have heard about Weavers Society, Handloom Weavers Society. They take different colors of threads, different sari materials. In a systematic manner, they will give to one handloom machine or handmade handloom machinery. Then you will get sari out of that. Then you will get sari or cloth outcome of that product. Machine looms, hand looms. If that functionality is happening through hand, that is hand loom. If that functionality is happening through machinery, that is called machine loom, right? Okay, tell me, that is technically called weaving, na? Weavers Society, they say, na, boss? Why that is called weaving process, Rababu? Why that is called different? They take different threads of different colors, different materials, and they will try to give to machinery in a particular sequence, and machinery will mix them and will give final cloth product or not. Will mix them and will give final cloth product or not. Will definitely give final cloth product. What do you say, boss? Yeah, the process of mixing secondary logics with primary logic is called process. Okay, guys. Weaving process. In weaving process, in-memory proxy class having the mix of both primary and secondary logics will be generated. In the weaving process, in-memory proxy class having mix of both, what is there? Logics will be generated. Check it out. Target class primary logic, expect class secondary logic. Both these are given to AOP enabled software. Right, guys? AOP enabled software. AOP enabled software will mix them and generates the in-memory proxy class having the mix of primary and secondary logics. Na? So the outcome of weaving process is proxy class, na boss. The outcome of weaving process is proxy class, na boss. Listen, a beautiful terminology is there to explain, guys. Wiring process is all about injecting one spring bean class object to another spring bean class object. Weaving, wiring process. Auto wiring, right? Weaving process is all about generating in-me proxy class, having both primary and secondary logics. Having both primary and secondary logics. Right now, boss? Having both primary and secondary logics. target class with primary logics, expect class with secondary logics. Both these are given to AOP enabled software. That gives me weaving process. Weaving process will give in-memory proxy class having both primary and secondary logics na boss. Super. What is proxy class, guys? What is proxy class? The outcome of weaving process is called proxy class. The outcome of weaving process is called proxy class, which is a dynamically generated in-memory class having the mix of both primary and secondary classes. Target class, pre-AOP class, weaving class. Proxy class, post-AOP class, post-weaving class. Got it, my dear? Got it, my dear? Come on. Are you understanding my statement, guys? Guys, everyone understanding? I think all terminologies are clear, my dear. All terminologies are very much clear. Can you list out AOP terminologies once in the chat box? In the chat box, can you write down AOP terminologies? Alexa, activate balcony central light.
Okay.
And if you want to generate a new line in the chat box, shift enter. Shift enter will give new line in the chat box. Shift enter will give new line in the chat box, guys. Yeah, tell me what is expect. What you want to apply is called expect. What is advice? How you want to apply the expect is called advice. Join point. The possible places where you want to apply, they are called join points. Point cut. What is point cut, guys? Collection of join points where aspects are advised or applied is called point cut, right? What is target class, guys? What is target class? The class that contains the business method having primary logic is called target class. What is weaving process, my dear? What is weaving process? Come on, I want reply. The process of mixing primary and secondary logics and generating proxy class having those logics is called weaving process. What is proxy class? The outcome of weaving is called proxy class. See one diagram. See one diagram, guys. I'm giving one diagram representing all the things. Aspects, advice, aspect 1, advice 1, aspect 2, advice 2, advice 3, aspect 3, advice 4, aspect 4. All these are secondary logics now, boss. All these are seriously called secondary logics, right? Super, guys. Now tell me, this is my target class, nothing but service class, right? This is my target class, service class. Sir, where you apply this AOP? On the service class or DAO class? You apply service class methods, right? Because service class methods are anyhow calling DAO class methods. So applying on service class method, indirectly applying on DAO class methods, right? We apply AOP secondary logics on service class method because they are indirectly applied on what? DAO class methods. They are indirectly applied on DAO class methods. What do you say, boss? They are indirectly applied on DAO class methods. Super. Tell me here. Advice 1, aspect 1, advice 2, aspect 2, advice 3, aspect 3, advice 4, aspect 4. All these are secondary logics. Super. Point cut is a collection of join points where we want to apply aspects, certain aspects or advice. Now listen, all these are the methods, Babu. All these are various methods representing join points. All these are the method, nothing but join points. So target class is having primary logics. Now listen, point cut 1 representing 2 aspects and says collection of join points. Tell me collection of join point which says on this join point these 2 aspects are applied. Point cut 2 should be applied on this join point. Okay. Aspect 4 or advice 4 will be applied on what? These 2 join point through point cut 3. Through point cut 3. Through point cut 3. Got it, my dear? Point cut 2 and here is my point cut. Point cut 1, point cut 2, point cut 2. Point cut 1, point cut 2, point cut. Array, all the things are completed. Looking in this diagram now, boss, all terminologies. These are aspects. Service class is target class. Various methods are there. They are join points. Point cut is collection of join points on whom aspects are advised. On whom aspects are advised. Clear, my dear? Super. I hope see how OOPS principles are very important. Class, object, all these are very important. Similarly, AOP principles also very important in order to enjoy AOP program. In any project or application, primary logics or target classes are horizontal logics. Secondary and aspects are vertical logics. That means secondary logics or aspects will be developed only for one time and they will be applied on multiple primary logics. Nothing but verticals are applied on horizontals. All these are verticals, na security, logging, all these are verticals. Daily transaction module developed, loan module developed, payroll module developed. These are horizontals. Are you understanding my statement, boss? Project or application, security logic, logging logic, auditing logic. This. I think we covered this point already, na boss. We covered this point already. Aspects are vertical, primary logics are horizontal. Since secondary logics are applied on primary logics as verticals applied horizontal, we can say secondary logics are cross-cutting concerns, right now, boss? In Spring, we can do AOP programming in multiple ways, guys. Using Spring AOP outdated, using Spring integrated aspects AOP, new and latest, which is the best. Okay, here small story is there, I have to tell, boss. Actually, aspects AOP is the best in the market, Rabo. Okay, what Spring AOP came later, but aspects AOP is the best in the market. Spring AOP people simply thought only one thing. Instead of competing with, come on guys, aspects AOP and fighting with aspects AOP to become best, they have taken all the best features of aspects AOP integrated with Spring AOP. So that what happens, guys? Spring AOP best feature, aspects AOP best feature together came now, boss. Understanding my statement? Array, one company merges with another company. Company A merges with company B, right? So the best of A and B together will come out or not? The best of A and B will come out or not? Super, guys. Tell me. Actually, Aspects AOP is a separate AOP enabled software which can be used independently without having any link with Spring. But Spring people have integrated Aspects AOP with Spring to use the best out of aspects AOP with Spring. Just now I discussed that one. Na? Instead of feeling competition, they merged it to the Spring AOP so that they can use best out of both together in application development. Instead of competing with Aspects AOP, the Spring people have integrated Aspects AOP with Spring AOP and released as Spring integrated Aspects AOP. Understood my statement, guys? Super. Different approaches of using Spring integrated Aspects AOP. Declarative approach, purely XML configuration, guys. Purely XML configurations, right? Annotation approach, XML plus annotation configuration, best. 100% code-driven configurations. No XML configuration, only Java code plus configuration. But industry uses this XML plus annotations. XML plus annotations, right? Okay, guys. Tell me next one, guys. Is AOP alternate for OOP? Answer, no. In fact, AOP complements OOP. AOP is equal to OOP plus. OOP plus plus. OOP plus plus, right? Is POP alternate for OOP? Yes. Procedure-oriented programming is alternate for what? Object-oriented programming, right now, boss? Okay. AOP is equal to OOP plus plus. Procedure-oriented programming is alternate for OOP. It's actually reverse, Rabab. POP came first, later OOP came. Is OOP alternate for POP? Is OOP alternate for POP? Yes. Procedure-oriented programming. OOP means object-oriented programming. Got it, my dear? Understood? Spring integrated aspects AOP annotation driven configuration. Yeah, this is @aspects approach. Listen, officially there is no annotation called @aspects. Using aspects use through annotation is called @aspects approach. Is called @aspects approach. Nothing but XML plus annotation driven approach. Super. @aspects annotation is not there official. Is not there official. Is not officially there. Okay. Please stop. Annotation driven configuration of aspects programming is called @aspects approach. Come on. Are you understanding my statement, boss? Super. The annotations are, these are the annotation that we have to use. @aspect to make Spring Bean as aspect class. We have to make Java class as Spring Bean by using stereotype annotations. Component, other things are there, not those things. Right? Point cut. To prepare point cut expression, OCL and expression having reusability. Point cut should represent join points, na? Okay, to make point cut linked with multiple join points, we should use OCNL expression. You should use OCNL expression. OCNL means object graph notation language. Object graph notation language similar to EL. EL is nothing but expression language. EL is nothing but expression language. Clear, my dear? @ around to configure expect class methods as around advice method. To configure expect class method as around advice method. At the rate before, to configure expect class method as before advice method. Expect class method as before advice method. Clear, guys? This is before advice method. Before advice method. Yes, boss. See, expect to make spring bean as expect class. Point cut. To prepare point cut using OCNL expression which points to multiple join points. OCNL is nothing but object graph notation language. Similar to EL1 expression language, guys. What is this? Note. Here we use OCNL expression. I'll teach OCNL, don't worry. OCNL expression to prepare the point cut, point cut, point cut, point cut, having the collection of joints, having the collection of joints. Convinced, my dear? Got the clarity, my dear? Come on, everyone understanding? Super. Tell me next one. After returning, to configure expect class method as after advice method, Rama. Listen. Around, to configure method as around advice method. How many types of advices are there, guys? 4 types of advices are there. Before, after, throws, around. At the rate around, to configure method as around advice method. Before advice method. After returning, after advice method. After throwing, what is there? Throws advice method. Throws advice method, right? Super. To activate these annotations, we need to place expects AOP colon expects a auto proxy tag in Spring Bean configuration file along with the regular context colon component scan. Along with the regular context colon component scan. So what is this auto proxy will do, guys? What this auto proxy will do, guys? Come on. This will generate the proxy class dynamically. This will generate the proxy class dynamically. Having the logics mixing both primary and secondary logics. Having logics, having mixing of both primary and secondary logics. Both primary and secondary logics. Got my point here, guys? Around advice, guys. This advice executes around the target method. This advice executes around the target method. And this tag is very important. How this is doing component scanning. This tag will generate the proxy class dynamically, having mixing of both primary and secondary losses. Got it, guys? Okay, guys. I want you people to revise Saturday's class and today's class once. Then only we can understand the coding of next class. Lot of new things, guys. But remember one thing. Target class separately, expect class separately. We enable AOP. We give all of them to what? AOP enabled software as inputs, okay, by giving instruction through XML file or annotations. So that in-memory proxy class will be generated having logics to mix up both primary and secondary logics. Having logics to mix up both primary and secondary logics. Everyone understanding my statement, guys? Got it? Yeah, how to deal with around advice that I am going to discuss in next class. So our next exam, this is the real practical example application we are going. Yeah, don't miss tomorrow's class. First example we are going to see off-kind around advice. Tell me, what do you mean by around advice? Okay, whatever logics, whatever secondary logics I am preparing as around advice logic, will execute before entering into the business method and while leaving the business. Before entering into the business method, while leaving the business. Understood my statement, guys? Thank you. Have a nice time. Agavendra, once AOP is completed, we will move to MVC. Thank you.
Recording stopped.